Okay, good day everybody. This is a new video regarding the use of the 4x6 index cards that we have been working on for what appears, it just feels like a really long time. Well, there's good reasons for that. As you know, the Hex Command series is many rules, many concepts. There's many different types of games that are being developed under the umbrella Hex Command. And we've been doing this for many years. And ergo, there are incarnations of these index cards all over the place. Because we come up with a great idea, and then next thing you know, an even better idea. So over the years, we've had these index cards. And lo and behold, we've also had them in Hex Command NOVA, and that's what we're looking at here. But even this has evolved into a better way of doing things. This represents, portions of it represent the it's not accurate to call it a non-roster system, but it is a roster system that is using O-rings or any kind of bead or anything else you want to put on the game table in an organized fashion on these little posts that we've stuck to the back of the mech stand. Now, for vehicles, we'll talk about that later. For infantry, we'll talk about that later. All the other ways of marking casualties on the game table, we'll talk about that later. Right now, it's the mechs. And the O-rings are going on these posts that we've got stuck on the back of the mechs. And they're clear bases, so any terrain underneath shows through. And that's one of the beauty of the thing. But what we're looking at here is on the right of the card where it says MDC, that's Movement, Defense, and Combat. Those are the only, after all this work, those are the only three numbers you ever need to worry about at all in playing this game. You don't need to worry about anything else. Well, you need to know what the weapons are of the mech, of course. But the only numbers you need to worry about how fast it moves, what the defense value essentially is, and what the combat value essentially is. Okay? And what is that? What do these three numbers mean that? No. These three numbers, M, D, and C, represent the limits of damage or hits, or we'll say how many O-rings can be placed on the post for the mech. And for instance, it could be 3, 3, and 2. In other words, 2 combat hits, and then the mech will start to have a penalty. 2 defense hits, and the mech will drop to the next weight class. If it's heavy, it goes to medium. 3 movement hits, and it begins to drop to -1 hex speed. And upon the next hit, it, precipitously increases as damage has occurred. Now, the middle of the card, you can see that there are numbers 1 through 6. Those are there for a reason we can explain, but they can be dice numbers. You just roll a dice to see what you hit on something, but not necessarily. They can also be levels of defense, okay? From 1 being the weakest to 6 being the strongest, okay? So every position on the mech, arm, leg, torso, and other, by the way, other's not used yet. You can see the weapons have been listed for this Warhawk. And the reason they're not in level number 1 is because level number 1 is the weakest. And level number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and so on. Well, if everything was going to be in level number 6, they wouldn't all fit, would they? So you can't do that. So if the machine has too many weapons, I'm afraid it's just not going to have everything slammed into the slot number 6. It's just not going to work. Do you need to have every item on a single line by itself? No, not necessarily, because all you're doing here is you're listing the weapons that are in that location, not necessarily at that level. So in other words, I guess I can show you that right now. And also remember that we don't do this anymore. The middle of the card showing what the location is for all these weapons is no longer necessary. It's good to know it. It's good to know what the weapon loadout is, But as to ticking off things, checking them off, crossing them out, that's no longer going to happen. Well, let's put it this way. It doesn't seem to be necessary to happen anymore. Okay? It might be, because during the game you might say, or there might be a specific card that someone plays on you, something of that nature. Okay, so let me demonstrate that. Here's an example. This guy's got a torso in his right of an AC-10 and a machine gun, but we can do this just as well. We can put it like this, and that's position number 2 before those two things can be available to be hit. And here's a LRM-6 and then an SM hit. So system management hit is possible. So you see here, I can actually go down. I can push this down further. For instance, say this guy's got a whole bunch of armor in his torso on the right and probably on the left as well, uniform. So we can go like this. We can say, okay, let's push this all the way down. Look at that. This guy's got he'll take no weapon damage until like 5 and 6. So his first hit will be, level 1, second hit level 2, third hit level 3, fourth hit level 4, and fifth hit, now he's got some potential damage to those weapons. And this can be done the same way. So just go up, all right, and here, oh, it looks like this is what I was afraid of. This text in the program might be too small. Let's see if we can, I don't even know if it matters. It looks to me like it should be. All right. Yeah, it looks, when you see it, there's a line here of the text box. It should be expanded a little bit. I'll fix that. But anyway, you get the idea. All right, so then this 6 vehicle list right here, you can put 6 vehicles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, 7? Yeah, how about that? Anyway, so you can do 6 vehicles. They can just be listed here, and it's an easy way to track the damage to ground vehicles. And the TE over here means terrain effects, because terrain affects vehicles. And depending on how you play the game, you can say, hey, going over that many rocks has somehow, compromised the vehicle, so give it a tick mark. All right, so now we're going to the back side of the card. We see the image. By the way, this is all kind of a new thing. This has been improved. The image is much larger, and the text here is, well, you can put any text you want. But also note down here, there's a cost value. We put the cost value on the back of the card. Why? Because I think we ran out of room on the front. It was getting pretty crowded. Also, by the way, I forgot, you can list cons and so on right here. Okay, pros and cons of the vehicle can be listed right there. And besides, this should actually be 3, 3, and 3. And that might be really generous. It probably should not be so much defense value. Anyway, so now we're going to the new thing. This is the new card. This card says to hell with all that stuff about what the weapons are and where they're located. Well, we can list the weapons, but where they're located, we may not even care anymore on each mech. That's right. This one holds 3 mechs. This card holds 3 mechs because we don't care about anything else other than these numbers now. So this is 3, space over 3, space over 3. So this is the same, space over 3. Maybe this is a, we'll call these things triads. This is a triad of 3 what are these guys called? Warhawks. So it says mech number 1, so you could say Warhawk 1, right? Warhawk 1. So this is like a deadly, I think in Battletech they call these lances, okay? But we're going to call them triads because there's 3 guys. All right. Trinities or triads, whatever. Anyway, so this is like interesting, right? There's all the information. Whoops. Remember, this is just a text box, so you got a space over. And I know and the reason why is because there's so many fields. You can't possibly populate the database with that many fields. It's really complicated. And it would be a problem. And maybe I'll do it in the future, but not right now. So this is where we're at. And then you can put the commander's image and his banner. And then you're done. This is a nice card. This is 3 mechs at once. So it's a fantastic idea. And we're going to be taking this to RockCon in November. After we get back from our sabbatical in the Mediterranean. So here we go. And so thanks for watching. And I'll anything you want to comment on, please do so. And visit the site and check it out. I think you have to register though to get this access. I don't think you can just visit. I think you have to register, but it's worth it. I mean, look at the stuff we're doing. So go there. We don't get anything, and we don't track anybody. So don't forget that. It's just all totally this is the way the internet should be, just like a library. Oh, it timed out. Ooh, that's all right.